we have the authority and we are the supreme power in this country. I never worked for any boss. I worked for myself. I worked for the organization. It's just a passion in whatever you do. So I feel proud. I feel proud in what I have achieved and what I am today. Success cannot be defined in one term. It's a process. Once you follow the process, success automatically falls in place. Leadership to me means something which happens when you are not there. I believe that we should make mistakes because nobody can live without mistakes. But only thing is, make sure that you don't make the same mistake again. Mistakes are taught to learn. Knowledge wants to talk, but wisdom wants to listen. Be a good listener. Listen properly. That will give you wisdom.
I am your host Gaurav Garg and we welcome all our viewers to our show Amazing Mentor. Today with us is Ambassador Dunston Pereira. He is currently Chief Operating Officer to the Royal Office of Your Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Faisal Al Qassimi. He is top 50 most impactful person on LinkedIn, Board of Director in 15 NGOs, Numi Kingdom Advisor, Mentor. 2018 National Award winner and 2019 State Award winner for Business Excellence with 35 years of vast experience in the field of supply chain management, procurement and logistics, operation management, manufacturing, sales and marketing, HR with blue chip companies in India. A media expert with a well connectivity to India and world cinema, an actor, co-producer, and currently involved in the design and implementation of the world's biggest film city in UAE. Also involved on some of the major projects in UAE like the Sports City, Wildlife Sanctuary, Underwater Theme Park, and Pharma City to name few. It's a pleasure to welcome Ambassador Dunston Pereira to our show Amazing Mentor. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Gaurav, for this opportunity, and it's a privilege for me to be part of this show. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, sir. So tell us about your childhood and any particular childhood memory that strikes your mind when we say the word childhood.
My childhood was really memorable because I spent most of my childhood with my grandparents. Because both my parents were working and they used to go in the morning and come in the evening, and my father was out of the country, so he used to come once in a year. So my memorable was more with my grandparents, which today's generation they don't enjoy. Even my children, they don't get time to spend with their grandparents because we have now moved to a nuclear family because of our work culture, nature, and we hardly spend. So that was the most memorable period in my life, and I love every moment I spend with them. I am sure those qualities and the time that I spend with them, that has made me what I am today.
Tell us about your educational background, schooling and higher education.
I did my schooling from Trivandrum, which is in Kerala. I did my graduation from Bangalore, St. Joseph's, after which I did my post-graduation also from St. Joseph's. And then I moved on to my career.
So during the time of your college, were you an introvert or extrovert child?
I was an introvert. I was basically a shy type. I never used to come to the forefront. Even if there is a group of people, I used to stand behind. I never used to take part in any cultural activities in the college because I had that stage fear. So I was basically an introvert. But today it has changed completely. I would say I am an out and out extrovert.
So where did you start your career journey from?
I started employment in the year 1986. Though my childhood dream was to become a doctor, somehow I could not get into that. So the next passion after doctor was to become a teacher. So I started my career as a teacher, teaching in a women's college in Mangalore called the St. Agnes. I started my journey there. But over a period of time, somehow I felt that this is not the place that I should be looking at. Because, of course, teaching is an important job because imparting knowledge to others is definitely something which is very, very noble job. But somehow I felt that that is not the place that I belong to. So I moved out of that and then started my career as a supply chain professional in a multinational company in Chennai. And there started my growth. In a span of about 15 years, I was associated with the same company. I became the national head for supply chain and logistics. I was handling all inbound and outbound movement of goods. And I thought, okay, my life is going to be confined to logistics and supply chain. And in the year 1998, I moved out of this company and moved to Oman, again in a building material manufacturing company. where I was heading the logistics and supply chain, which took a period of about 10 years in that country. And when my children were kind of going to the higher classes, I moved back to India for their benefit. Took up an assignment there for a couple of years. And then, as every people look forward to, I wanted to become an entrepreneur. And I started my entrepreneurial journey in the year 2010. I started my own company, which in the beginning itself, it had diversified functions like customer care, logistics and supply chain, sales and marketing, facility management, and e-commerce. So with these 5 portfolios, I started my company. And in a span of about 4 years, I spread into 4 branches within South India, starting from Cochin, Vijayawada, Chennai, and Bangalore, and expanded my company into a 200 employee division. And that gives me a lot of pride, because in a span of 3 years, I was able to build a company of 200 people. And more important, I was able to take care of 200 people's requirement, take care of their family. That is something which made me feel proud of what I am doing. The business, of course, it is happening on one side, but taking care of these people and ensuring that they get their salaries in time, it was a real feel that I got, to be honest.
So how has been your journey from an IT manager to chief operating officer?
It's just a passion in whatever you do. I wanted to become a doctor. I ended up becoming a teacher. And then I started my career as an IT, and then moved on to supply logistics chain, then start my entrepreneurial journey. And then I moved on to become an advisor to one of the crown princes in UAE. And then today I have taken up an assignment as chief operating officer of one of the ruling family members' private office. So I feel proud. I feel proud in what I have achieved and what I am today. My 35 years of experience through ups and downs in various sectors, various functions, is helping me a lot in my today, the roles that I am associated.
When you started your entrepreneurship journey, what all initial challenges you have to face?
The initial challenges that I faced was only capital, because by that time I was fully connected. My networking skill was quite high in that time. So when I started my business in 2010, I had already established well connected in all the industries. And that helped me a lot, because I never had to run behind people and say, I have started my business, so I want this job. When I said that I have started this particular activity, immediately they said, okay, please take care of this sector. So for example, when I said I am into customer care, they said, okay, you take over the western region, or you take over the eastern or northern and run the show. Because they had that confidence, because they have seen me in the various organizations handling those functions perfectly. It was a cakewalk for me, I would say. That building the business was easy for me. Like any other entrepreneurs, I had initial setup issues regarding to the capital. But I did overcome because I could sign all the contracts in time, and that gave me the necessary capital without me approaching for a bank loan or private loans. I was able to manage it within the income that we generated, and then we grew from there into different functions, different branches, more people, and diversified activities.
Who is your mentor in life?
Everybody who I have come across is a mentor to me. I don't have a specific person whom I can call as a mentor, because I learn from everybody. I learn from my bosses, my superiors, my colleagues, my juniors. Everybody, I would say, is a mentor to me. And because I always had an open heart, open mind to kind of listen to everybody and take what is required and incorporate into my life or what I do. And I think that has been my success.
So what was your first task in your Highness office, and what all initial challenges did you face in your initial days while adjusting in your Highness office?
There wasn't much of challenges with the private office or the royal office, basically because we have the authority and we are the supreme power in this country. So in that manner, we were quite comfortable. But the challenges were to identify the right people. When we associate with anybody, and as heading the operations, when I recommend somebody to the royal family, that this particular person is good and we can associate it with him, or we can partner with him in some kind of a business collaboration. There is a lot of things that I need to put in to understand that the partner very well, to do a proper background check, because the family is relying completely on me and what I tell them. So once the partnership is done, and if there is something that happens from the partner, then it's not me who is going to get affected, but the name of the family gets affected. So that gives me a very, very high responsibility on my shoulders, and I need to ensure that I keep up to the respect of the family in this country. So there is a lot of things that I need to put in. We have said no to many people because we found that they will not add value to the partnership. So we have said no to many people. That is something which I feel as a challenge for me, because when I say yes, it has to be done through a proper process.
So what all similarity do you see in work culture of India and Dubai?
Here there's a total freedom, especially in the private office. No? The family, they doesn't involve in day-to-day activities. They just give you the full authority, and then whatever you say is the final verdict. Whereas in India, it is not so. We have to work with different functions, different departments, different superiors, and their interest, their way of functioning, it all matters a lot. What I have learned in my career, in my 35 years of working before coming to the Royal Office, I never worked for any boss. I worked for myself, I worked for the organization. Because when you're working for a boss, when you're working for an individual, okay, that is working to his taste, to make him happy, to make him smile, what happened is, when he leaves the organization, you find it difficult to survive. But when you work for yourself, when you work for the organization, keeping in mind with the principles, there may be times when the boss is not happy with what you're doing. But in the interest of the company, what you're doing is right. That is what I have to advise all youngsters. Work for yourself, work for the organization, and not for the boss.
So any particular thing you miss about India and Dubai?
India has a different style of functioning in India, whereas here it's a different style of functioning. Here, everything is systematized. So what happened is, when you kind of get settled in this country, it is very difficult for you to go back to India and settle. Because right from an approval from a government agency till the way you drive in the roads, everything is disciplined and everything has a way to do it, which is not the case in India. I'm not saying India is bad, but it has got its own merit, probably because the population level of India is much higher than this country. But the systems that has been put in place in this country is very, very robust, and it cannot be broken by anybody. So that is something which I always cherish, and it makes our life easier to implement many things for the people and for this country.
So you have many posts and profile in your portfolio. Which one is your favorite and why?
Of course, being part of various NGOs is definitely something which I cherish, because it helps me a lot to kind of see the needs of other people. Because out of the 10 or 15 NGOs that I'm associated with, many are from Africa and other not much developed countries. So what we are seeing from outside is not the real world. The way they are suffering, the way their requirements are not being met is something which we try to look at and see how we can improve. It's not that all these NGOs we are just dumping money there. No. Through my mentoring, advisors, I try to connect people from various parts of the other countries to bring them and see how various resources can be accumulated and see how those NGOs can benefit, like women empowerment, lady students who doesn't have schools to study. There are certain places in Africa where the school doesn't even have basic facilities like toilets. The children has to sit for almost 6 to 7 hours without toilet facilities. So these are all some of the things that we try and see how we can take care. And food security, we are trying to focus more on agriculture. We are now working on some projects in India as well on food security. See, at the end of the day, it's not to get a name or get a money or anything of that sort. What I keep telling is, we need to make this world a beautiful place for the generations to come. That is what I am striving for.
So what was the most challenging phase of your life?
The most challenging phase of my life, I would say, was during my entrepreneurial journey. That is, I said that I started my business journey in the year 2010, and it took off very well after about 3 years' time and reached a peak. But unfortunately, in the year 2018, I'm sure most of you know that there had been a heavy flood that happened in Kerala, and I was based out of Cochin, where the damage was the most. So I almost lost everything that I gained. That is the entire office space, warehouse, my vehicles, everything got washed away, and it was literally kind of, we were on the roads. But I think that is life. I faced those kind of difficult times as well, and I bounced back. It's because of the confidence in me and the support that I got from people around me that put me back on track.
So as per your opinion, what all are the import opportunity in Dubai from India?
India and UAE, as you know, we have signed the CEPA agreement recently, which is now improved a lot the kind of movement of goods in both the countries. As you know, UAE is the third largest trading partner for India. And with the CEPA in place, exports from UAE to India has gone up, and from India to UAE has also drastically improved because many commodities are coming on zero duty now, which benefits the manufacturer to a large extent. So the opportunities are opened up widely. And as you know, UAE is the hub for global market because it is geographically placed. Once you are present in UAE, you can expand very easily to Africa, Eastern countries, US, in most of the other part of the world. So I would say for Indian people, for Indian business people, UAE is the gateway for them to the global market.
If any Indian company or any company around the world want to start his branch or want to start his company in Dubai, so what would be the procedure he has to follow?
He has to get connected with a good partner in UAE. See, there are options in UAE to start your own company in free zone, mainland. Now we are also come out with 100% holding company where you don't need a local partner. Earlier the case was you need to have a local partner. So there are a lot of facilities available. But in my view, any new company coming to UAE should have a local partner. See, it is easy to open a company without a partner and then start the business. But how far you will reach is a big question mark. But when you have a local brand or a local partner associated with you, you have that confidence. And that is where we step in. As a royal family, we try to back these people by forming a partnership company with them and giving them our brand. And that brand gives them the credibility. When, for example, if a person is coming here and he is attached to the royal office, and when he is promoting his business to the business community and says that he's a group company of the royal office, the credibility that he has is 10 times more than what he will have when he is opening a company in a free zone or any other part of the country. So this is where we step in to try and see how we can support these companies, and we are also supporting startup companies who has good ideas that is going to add value to this country.
So how would you define the term success?
Success cannot be defined in one term. It's a process. At the end of the day, whatever you do, it should lead to success. And obviously, anybody who is in any field, whether it is business, whether it is job, we all look for success. So, but that should not be the prime motive. Once you follow the process, success automatically falls in place.
So if you are able to get hold of time machine, which phase of your life would you like to roll back?
I would like to go to my childhood because I enjoyed being with my grandparents, listening to the stories, sleeping with them, being pampered. Whatever you wanted at that point of time, they will ensure they give you. I enjoyed every moment because there was no stress, there was no tension. You just play around, eat, be with them. 90% of the current generation, they don't have the privilege of enjoying those things. So I think that is the most important thing that I will definitely look forward. If I get a time machine, I will go back.
So what does leadership means to you?
Leadership to me means something which happens when you are not there, because that is when your leadership comes in, because you have developed your team, you have trained them to face even when you are not there. So when you are not there, but things are happening the way it should happen, that is where you as a leader stands out.
As we have told before also that you play many portfolios at the same time. So how do you make your work-life balance?
I balance my time and I make sure that I delegate a lot. I have a team in whom I have my confidence. I don't grab everything and say that I want to meet all the people who are coming to the office. I want to get involved in all the meetings. No. I only attend meetings which is relevant. And all others, I make sure that my team get involved. And because at the end of the day, they need to learn, they need to understand, they need to face the challenges, they need to make mistakes, and then they need to learn from mistakes. And I believe that we should make mistakes because nobody can live without mistakes. But only thing is, make sure that you don't make the same mistake again. Mistakes are taught to learn. See how that mistake was made, how it was corrected, and make sure that you don't make that mistake. This is what I tell my team as well. So I balance my time, and today I would say that it's not an 8-hour job for me, because from morning till evening I work on the UAE timings, and from evening to late night it goes up to the other countries like Africa, US when they open up. So there have been days where I had to continuously be on Zoom calls and phone calls up to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. I take it as the right sense, because when people wanted me to get involved, I make sure that I am there for them.
So what's your role and responsibility as Chief Operating Officer to the Royal Office of Your Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Faisal Al Qassimi?
The role and responsibilities, as I told you, I head the entire operation, so I need to ensure that the operations are continued without disturbances, and we get into more diversification activities. What is relevant, what is new in the country, bring what new technology that can be brought in. And at the end of the day, we need to make sure that Royal Office is kind of supporting the vision of the leaders. UAE is headed by visionary leaders, and that's why UAE has become like this today. They had a vision 50 years back. UAE has celebrated the unity of 50 last few months back. So we get our work aligned with the visionaries' vision, and make sure that we all work towards a common goal of making this place a beautiful place, the most sought after destination in the world.
So what does award means to you, and which was your first award?
See, awards is basically, it's a motivation. I don't work for awards, but whenever I get something, it motivates me to do more, because I feel that my responsibility goes up. Today, if you see, I've received many awards from various sectors, but the most important one was the one which I got in 2018, the National Award for Business Excellence, which was awarded to me in New Delhi. And recently, I got the doctorate from Mother Teresa Institute. So it all gives me a lot of satisfaction that whatever I do, I don't do for awards, but when I get an award, it motivates me to do better and be more responsible.
So e-commerce was not so famous thing in 2008, nor was the logistic part. So what made you think that, okay, I should choose logistic and supply chain as my career option in early 2008?
You see, earlier, prior to 2008, every company had their own team of logistics, the way they were doing packing, dispatch. You call it packing, dispatch, and all those things. And after 2008, the terminology like 2PL, 3PL, 4PL, and today we have 5PL concepts came up in the manufacturing sector. Most of the companies, what they did was they slowly moved out of their own handling of logistics and supply chain and started outsourcing it. Because that is something which it is an integral part of the company, because logistics is very key in terms of delivering the product in time. So there, the need for KPIs, close monitoring, everything plays an important role. So most of the companies felt that this need to be outsourced to an expert who can handle it much better than our own team. And also they were able to manage on the cost, because handling so many of own people and giving it to an outsourcing people, there's a lot of change. So I was instrumental in that time. That was sometime in 2009, 8 to 2010, where I outsourced most of the activities of the company that I was associated with to third-party logistics by hiring warehouses in various parts of the country and giving it to them for managing it. It made history. It was created a very big impact on the profitability of the company, because delivery became faster, stocks became lesser. We were able to work on just-in-time concepts and many more logistics platforms.
So you have also co-produced 3 movies. So share your experience on producing the movies.
It was just a passion. It was not that I'm never an entertainment guy, and as I told you, I was always an introvert. But these were some of my friends' ventures, which were startup kind. It was like a startup. They wanted to do something. So I contributed to some extent, and then I also acted in those movies. It was an experience, I think, which has probably helped me in today getting into the entertainment sector. Today we are getting in a very, very large scale into the entertainment sector. We are now formed a company called AVS Films in Dubai under our Royal Office, and we are now planning to produce about 17 Indian movies, of which 11 Bollywood, Telugu, Tamil and Kannada. We are also in discussion with various other production companies in India who wants to partner with us as a co-producer. So in the next 5 years, you will see a lot of movies that will be produced under our office as co-producers. Yes, I think the way forward, we are looking at getting into the entertainment business quite largely. And we are also coming out with our own project of setting up the world's biggest film city, something similar to the Ramojiro Film City in Ras Al Khaimah, which will be announced soon and will be completed in the next 5 to 6 years' time.
So you are involved in some of the major projects in UAE like Sports City, Wildlife Sanctuary, Underwater Theme Park, Pharma City, to name few. So tell us more about these projects.
As our family is primarily from Ras Al Khaimah, and as you all know, Dubai and Abu Dhabi is kind of saturated in terms of the growth and facilities available. So we are now focusing on Ras Al Khaimah as the next emirate to come up with a lot of activities and make it into a destination. So we are coming out with various projects. One is the film city, which I just mentioned. The second is a sports academy, which will have multiple sports and headed by various legends in those sporting activities. We are coming out with the wildlife sanctuary, collaborating with a company with South Africa, where we will have exotic animals. We will create artificial forest. Then we are coming out with the underwater theme park. We are coming up with a pharmaceutical city, which is a very close project to my heart, where we want to bring in almost all the leading pharmaceutical companies under one umbrella in one place, have their manufacturing facilities, labor camps, staff quarters. And because today, after the COVID, healthcare has become very important. So we wanted to make sure that this facility is available with us and we are able to provide medicines to many countries, including Africa, where it is not today available to most of the people.
So what advice would you like to give to young entrepreneurs who have just started their journey in Dubai?
There are various quotes which I will quote. One is, knowledge wants to talk. This is some of the quotes which I myself have given. Knowledge wants to talk, but wisdom wants to listen. Which means be a good listener. Listen properly. That will give you wisdom. Choose happiness, not success, as your life goal. Because if you choose success, then you will be running behind that. Instead, you choose to be happy. Be happy always, whatever you do. And that is definitely going to change your life.
So what advice would you like to give, or what are do's and don'ts while starting your entrepreneurship journey?
The entrepreneurial journey, when you're starting, what I would suggest, what I would recommend is have a clear plan, because especially when you're starting a business in Dubai, you're not getting into a small city or a small place in India. You are getting into a global market where global players are there. The commodity, even the consumers are global. We have about 175 nationalities living in this country. So any product, if it has to be accepted by all these 175 nationalities, it means it has to be that excellent. The product, in the sense, it doesn't mean a commodity. It can be service, it can be an IT related product. So whatever you do it with compassion, do it with passion, and make sure that you are able to reach the global, the community that is available in this country, and then only you can survive. It is like a small turtle being pushed into the ocean, because if he is able to swim, he will get into the deeper sea. If he is not able to swim, he will come back to the land in the next wave. It's as simple as that.
So as we have talked about basically how to start business in Dubai, so would you like to elaborate a little bit with the steps to follow while starting your business in Dubai?
Any companies who would like to start a company here, as I told you, it's always better to connect with a local brand or a local partner. So that gives them the credibility, that gives them the support, that gives them the courage to move forward. So if anybody wants our support, we are always open. Our website is available. Our email ID is there. They can contact us anytime, and we will give them the right guidance. In the sense, like for example, if we keep getting people coming from various parts of the country saying that we want to start a mineral water business. We advise them not to do it, because there are more than 1,000 brands available in this country, and they are not going to survive. This is the right kind of advice that we would like to give to young entrepreneurs, that if it is good, we will tell them, yes, you go ahead, you will succeed. But if competition is stiff and we say that there has to be still a lot more work to be done in that, we tell them rework or retreat. And once they approach us, we will ask them to send us a letter of interest saying that we would like to partner with the Royal Office to establish a company in UAE, and give them a brief about their company and a brief about what they plan to do in the UAE. Based on this letter of interest, we will take a board approval after necessary background checks that we do, that this person has got substantial credibility back home, and then we move forward to the next level of setting up the company. We will share the commercials, we will sign the MOUs on mutual understandings, and we support them in terms of the necessary licenses, visa, and handhold them throughout the process. And we will also work out a profit sharing mechanism for the partnership company, and we move forward and we take them along.
So now we'll start our rapid round. Your favorite actor and actress?
Actors was Amitabh Bachchan and Rajinikanth, and actress was Sridevi.
Your favorite color?
Black.
Luck, smart work, or hard work?
I would say it is smart work.
Your favorite destination?
Dubai.
Things in your wish list?
To see the film city coming up as soon as possible.
Your dream house?
Where I live today.
The second choice of career apart from doctor and teaching that we discussed in the beginning?
I would like to be a mentoring coach for young entrepreneurs.
So at last, one line that defines you.
Today, if I have to define myself, I would say I am an extrovert. I believe in what I do. I would like to see the team around me do well and support me in the mission of making this world a beautiful place for all the generations to come in.
So thank you very much for your precious time, and it was doing lovely conversation with you and the advices and the procedure that you have shared on our show. Thank you very much for your precious time.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks for watching Amazing Mentor. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell button to get regular updates. Thank you very much.